Hi, it's Marcus from Dadland's Gaming. This is a new set of videos I'm going to do. It allows me to do something basically when Tommy and Jake are away, which they are more often not nowadays. I'm going to delve into the two games rooms, the setup, and look at little things in particular that obviously I like talking about. First thing I'm going to look at today is a new item, new pickup. It's the Retrotink 4K. So let's have a look how it goes into the setup, shall we? So here's the kit that I needed to incorporate the Retrotink. The Retrotink 4K directly replaced our Retrotink 5X, and as you can see, there's quite a difference in the sizes. The Retrotink 5X is fantastic, but this just feels like an absolute premium product. It really does. So there's a difference in sizes. So I'll mention it probably in a very boring fashion later in the video. That the retro side of things, it was just a direct swap in and out, but the HDMI side of things took a bit more thought. So just for reference, there's the remote for the 4K. Lots of excellent shortcuts on there, much better than the remote you get with the 5X, that's for sure. So what I needed, first of all, 3 HDMI splitters. So there's one type I've used, and there's another one I've used. So there's 2 of those, but one's still in the setup. So firstly that one, I do mention it in the video, but basically when I was playing on the Series X, for example, whenever it detected, I don't know whether it's something to do with the amplifier or the Retrotink itself, but whenever it detected something in the setup that wouldn't allow full 4K 120Hz, it would just scale down to 4K 60 or 1080p 120Hz. It was a pain in the backside. So I got one of these bi-directional 8K, it's an 8K switch. It's basically just a 4K switch. It'll do 120Hz, it'll do HDMI 2.1 essentially. So whenever I'm and that basically has just one output on it. So I just click the switch, so it goes to a dead output, and then that means that the Xbox or the amplifier, I suspect it's the amplifier, doesn't detect anything else in the setup, and then it allows me to play on the Series X in 4K. Very boring, but if you're into that kind of thing, it helps. Just one of them in series. Next one, first one of these on the input side of the Retrotink 4K, and that strips, that one, I know for a fact this EZ-Q 4K 60Hz splitter strips out the HDCP, which, if you don't know what that means, it's a protection on certain HDMI devices. PS3 and PSTV have it. So that strips it out onto the input side. So here's the inputs on the Retrotink. There's the front of it, obviously. SD card goes in there. Slide that across, you've got S-Video and composite on the front. You can also use composite on the back through the components, one of the component inputs if you want. We've obviously got component there. You've got audio, left and right. VGA, and obviously VGA 3.5 sound jack if you want to use it. There's an optical audio in, and HDMI in and out. Power is USB-C. Now I was having a nightmare initially, all sorts of problems. I just could not understand what was wrong with the setup. So something to consider if you're going to get one is you've definitely, and I found this out by reading the Discord for the 4K. There's a help group in there. And you've got to make sure you've got a powerful enough USB brick basically, because if not, it was coming out with loads of funky faults which I couldn't even replicate. And when you're trying to fault find something, not replicating the fault is an absolute ball ache, and it drove me insane for about 3 or 4 days. And then it was like that hallelujah moment. I changed it for a really powerful USB brick, and it worked perfectly straight away. So what we'll do now is, in my boring fashion, we'll have a look how I incorporate that Retrotink into the retro and the new HDMI side of the setup. There is 2 distinct parts to this Retrotink setup. So first of all, what I would say is the retro side, which is all those consoles, all feed into the Extron cross point. Obviously some more in here too. I'll open the cabinet. It's basically an old server cabinet. So there's the Retrotink 4K. couple more consoles. So they all input through the Extron, so you can see some of the, obviously I put little icons on for everything, and icons for all the outputs. So they all feed, the retro consoles feed in the Retrotink, and now I've got a HDMI cable in the wall through that brush plate there, which then feeds into the other side, which is now the HDMI side input, and that's obviously, instead of an Extron, that's governed by the Denon amplifier. So we need to look into a bit more detail exactly how I do it. Obviously the HDMI side is through the Denon, is PS3, PS4 there, not so much, but can be used I suppose if you set it lower than 4K. Wii U, and this unit now, the Analog Duo, Xbox with a HDMI mod, and the PSTV. So lots of options, two very distinct sides to the setup. Let's have a look in more detail. The Extron crosspoints really are an excellent bit of kit. Not as cheap as what people think. Actually buying the device is cheap, but all the cabling to get everything running I want it, that certainly wasn't cheap. But I like how it works. It's like I've just shown you, that's all the different inputs. So now for me, if I wanted to put the PS2 through the Tink, it's all through components, it's obviously lit up there, just press that, then you press enter, and that accepts your setting. That then feeds the component output into the Retrotink, and then through to the TV. So what we have is Wii, GameCube, PS2 and original Xbox all in component, and then we have Analog Duo, sorry not PC Engine Duo I mean, N64, Super Nintendo 1 chip, modded Mega Drive, ODE PS1, RGB modded Famicom, and the Sega Saturn with a satiator in it. They all feed in to Retrotink, and it is simple as picking there, for example, PlayStation. Make sure I pick the RGB setting. Now there is multiple different settings on the Retrotink. Now you can send all sorts of wonderful different signals down component or SCART, but it's a direct replacement for the Retrotink 5X. So I've just simply used it such. It is literally been unplugged that one, and the retro side of it is literally just pull it back in. It works perfectly straight out of the box. I'll try and explain this the best I can. An issue I had when I initially put the Retrotink 4K into the setup was using the Series X, because it's in line on the HDMI. So I don't know whether it's to do with the Series X or the Denon amplifier, but I'll show you now if you can see behind me. So the settings, I've now got the Retrotink switched on in what I would consider the normal setup directly from the amp, because the amplifier's obviously got two HDMI outs. So I've got the TV, it was detecting, it was kept going back to 1080p, 60 Hz. Now the telly will do 144 Hz, it's obviously 4K TV. So I had to introduce a 4K splitter in series. Basically one side doesn't split onto anything, just means when I flick it over it doesn't detect the 4K, so you have to just bear with me while I reach behind the unit and switch it across, and the TV should be able to, then it won't detect the Retrotink 4K, and it'll allow me to play my gaming, modern gaming, in 4K 128. So just give it a second. Now the TV will obviously just take a second. So now if I come back out the menu, go back in, I don't know if you can see there, but now it sees it as 4K UHD 120 Hz. So that was another key thing I needed to work out when I was first putting the Retrotink 4K, the HDMI side of it, and that is I needed this 4K splitter in line just to switch it across when I wanted modern gaming. If you're just going to be using older HDMI stuff, you know, 360, PS3, that kind of thing, you won't have a problem. But for me, it's combining ultra modern and relatively modern, so something I need to do. Here's the PSTV now running through the Retrotink. I'll try and do this the best I can one-handed. So as you can see, got the input, it's showing HDMI. Now if I go on to that one, it's obviously this, it's showing, if you look down there, it's showing now that I'm on 4K 60. If I wanted to turn on HDR, I can. It doesn't need it on this one, but you can on certain things. It's really useful for scan lines, that kind of thing. But you can turn on HDR, just makes it brighter. Don't need it for this as it is at the moment, but just a demonstration. And obviously I can also go into, I don't have anything fancy on here, it's just stock at the moment. But if I want to load from file, I can obviously go to PSTV at the bottom there. Mr. Morrow, Sony TSV sharp scale. So all these different options for different sharp scale things, which is really, really cool actually. I've spent hours just fiddling about with all these different filters and that you can put on. So that's at the moment. So that's now, let me put that menu, is it that menu back on? Yeah, so you can see the bottom corner is saying input 720p. Now if I go on the TV, again I'm trying to swap my hands around here behind. We've got info on the TV, it's now showing it's 4K 60 Hz. So I do think the biggest, best looking games for this are the retro stuff, but this does just give a nice sharpness and just makes it does make the HDMI look nicer, but I just think the retro stuff looks absolutely amazing on it. But anyway, I'm really pleased it's set up as it is, so let's see if I can put some game on. I'm going to do it one-handed. Of course I can't. How can we put on one-handed? How about Slain? And I just think it looks really ultra sharp now. It's obviously in 4K, I mean it's a retro style game. It'll take a while to come on, but it is absolutely amazing. And you can't obviously tell on my video footage, but it's it sounds great through the speakers when it comes on. There we go. Just an absolute, incorporating my amplifier as I have, it just got an absolutely fantastic sound, and it looks absolutely superb there. Really pleased. What I will also do is I'll put a quick picture in showing you what the PSTV, or obviously the PS3 looks like if you don't strip out the HDCP. I'll just put a quick image in which I took. It looks absolutely, you wouldn't be able to use it, put it that way. As previously mentioned, let's now try PC Engine, shall we? So let's come down to the Extron, so PC Engine. I'm going to output its RGB, so Retrotink RGB. Do that. Right, let's come back to our Retrotink remote. Right, here we are. So, as you can see, it's still showing HDMI, so I'll flick it down to SCART. Should get something. Oh, there we go. Let's get rid of that menu. Just a menu screen at the moment. So I'll do, I'll quickly pause it. I'll get the controller connected. We'll have a look at the game running on it. I think it looks excellent. I'll show off initially like that, and then I'll put a filter on and see if you can see the difference. Again, Tommy's playing video games, so he could help me with this, but I'm trying to do it one-handed. Let's have a look at something, shall we? How about Old Faithful? Where are we? R-Type, there we go at the bottom. See what that looks like. We'll go into gameplay in a second. And again, this is in 4K through the Retrotink. I hope the camera does it justice. It probably won't, but it looks fantastic. So what I'll do now is I'll pause it there, apply a filter. I should try and do it on the fly. Let's try and do it on the fly, see if I can do it one-handed. So let's have a look. So go down to load from file. Where are we? I'm trying to look across the phone. Can't even see the flipping PC engine there. Help me out, will you? So that's a Firebrand X filter that's on it at the moment. It looks absolutely stunning. We're going to start putting some scan lines on next. Right, on the menu to scan lines, see if I can do this again one-handed. Let's have a look. Exponential. Some of these would probably do with putting HDR on to get the best from them. I don't think the camera's doing it justice. I can obviously see it in person much better. But some of these scan line options are fantastic. There you have it. I mean, I must clarify this thing, right? For us guys in the UK, $750, and I got stung for £120. I can't remember now. I should have got prepared better. I think it's about £120 tax. So the $750 came down with shipping came down to £660. So it's making it a hellishly expensive device, but it's the type of thing I'm really into, and I can spend hours and hours just testing stuff on this, seeing all the filters that I've tried my best to show you. It just, it's everything I've always wanted incorporating my setup. And if you watch some of our previous videos from last year, I had my eye on this last year when I was getting the new amplifier, I was getting the new TV for the games room. I was always thinking I want to incorporate this, the HDMI side into the 4K setup. So I'll do more videos like this where I delve a bit deeper into the technical aspect of some of the setups. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like doing these kind of things. Anyway, thanks for listening to my boring knobhead self, and I'll see you later.